The Giants, they closed out the season with back-to-back wins as they knocked off the Cowboys at a frigid MetLife Stadium today. So, it's a 4-win season for the G-Men. But should Big Blue fans be excited for the future? That is the major question. We're going to discuss that. We're going to do it with a fantastic host for WFAN, the one and only Danielle McCartan joins me now. Danielle, Happy New Year. How you doing?
Yeah, good. It's the first time we get to talk after a win, so I'm excited. Let's
I,
do it.
I realized that it took us to the final game of the season for that to happen.
Yeah.
Insane. But here we are. We're talking about some good things after win. So, in the final game, Danielle,
Yeah.
of this season, Jaxson Dart, we saw him complete 22 of 32 passes for 230 yards. He threw for 2 scores. He also rushed for 32 yards in this contest. When you look at what Dart has done this season, a couple of things. What's your evaluation of him? Do you think he should win Offensive Rookie of the Year? And do you also look at him as the Giants have found their quarterback of the future? Do they definitively have their starting quarterback going forward? Excuse me.
Yeah, two things can be true. The Giants have found their quarterback of the future going forward. I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit later. But let's not get crazy here, Dexter. I mean, I think you've got an argument or a debate if it were just between Dart and Shuck. And their stats are pretty similar. I did the compare. Obviously Dart's a better runner. Shuck is a better thrower at this point in time. And their team situations are similar too. I mean, two teams with minimal wins out of the playoffs. But it's not between the two of them, Dexter. There's a guy on the NFC South winning, playoff bound Panthers who is going to run away with it. He's a wide receiver, last name McMillan, who's absolutely crushing it. And I think maybe Dart's case could have or would have been stronger and enter into this conversation of NFL Rookie of the Year if he were able or was able to keep himself on the field and out of the blue tent. And I hope that when he reflects upon this season, I hope he realizes that.
Yeah, that could be huge for him when he reflects on this season. We'll see how it goes. But a good season for Jaxson Dart. 24 touchdowns he got in 12 games. So a good season
Yeah.
for him. And we'll get on, what that looks like for him going forward. But for a team like the Giants that have had a very rough season this year, how much does winning the final 2 games of this season matter for this team as they look ahead to the 2026 season, Danielle? Does it matter that they've won the final 2 games of this year and probably have some good vibes going into the offseason?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's always we talked last week, Dexter, about perspective all the time, perspective. And, for some people, they can't stand that the Giants draft position has suffered by the tune of like a 5 spots because of these 2 wins or 6 spots. But I'm here to tell you, I'm not some people. I hate the tank, you know that. And I love the fact that the Giants laced them up and competed. And I love the fact that Jaxson Dart was forced to run a 2-minute drill in the first half of a competitive game. It was an 11 play, 96-yard touchdown drive. And that off schedule throw, that flick, that shovel to Daniel Bellinger. I mean, woo! Like Jaxson Dart looked like my homie on that one. That's exciting and that's growth. And speaking of, like, I finally got to see Jaxson Dart learn the importance of sliding. So instead of the +2 yards falling forward that he explained to Gruden and as the reason why he takes those huge shots, he now sees and he now understands that a 15-yard penalty is better than that. And I think Dart turned the corner today, and I'm very happy to see it.
All right, got Dart turning the corner, had some very impressive plays in this one for sure. But now we talked about looking ahead, Danielle. What are the pieces that this team absolutely must add this to the roster this offseason? What do the Giants have to do? They've got a lot of work to do when you only have 4 wins on the season. But what are the pieces that you feel they have to add to the roster this offseason?
Yeah, and Dexter, you've seen my draft homework, and I haven't done it in that deep dive just yet. I mean, the regular season literally just ended for the Giants, but in theory, without names, I need to see this Giants team. I need to see them come away from this offseason with, I think maybe number one, a lockdown cornerback. I mean, it's something I've wanted for this team for a long time. An NFL caliber safety would be nice. And another thing too, I was thinking about this. I think the Giants have too many of these finesse type wide receivers, and I'd like to see them go after maybe in the later rounds. It's just a big guy, a bruiser type with a wide catch radius that can out muscle defenders for those 50-50 balls, because I don't think that exists on the Giants roster at the moment. And also, I mean, you can't forget about how important a good kicker is, too. We've seen that this season. So maybe I'm in the minority, but I am actually confident that Joe Shane, after getting the quarterback right, can come away with the right pieces.
All right, and he's got to get the right pieces to be around Jaxson Dart. We'll see if he is able to do that. Now, the other thing that the Giants have to find here, Danielle, that is a head coach. So I'm going to ask you this. Who would you like to see as the next head coach of the New York Giants?
Yeah, I know. I read the article Diana Rossini put out the other day that the Giants are set to get underway with interviews like this week, as in like tomorrow, Monday. And, I think it's important to kind of step back. And before we get into any kind of specific names, Dexter, I think I need to see the Giants emphasizing three main principles in this search. I need the Giants looking for someone who's offensive minded, which is obviously a continually offensive league, offensive back league. I need somebody with a history of or experience in developing a quarterback for obvious reasons. And I need somebody with NFL head coaching experience. I mean, it's time, I think, to stop the cycle of coordinators coming into this city since the Giants booted Tom Coughlin and just failing miserably as head coaches. I don't want any coordinators anymore. Only coordinators. If they were a head coach and then they're a coordinator, that's fine. That's a natural progression. But I need someone in there with head coaching experience. So that said, as far as the head coaches' potentials that are still in the league, my short list would be Cliff Kingsbury, Matt Nagy, who's a Jersey guy, and maybe Clint Kubiak, because I would be interested to see what he's about, even though he has no head coach experience. And as far as guys that are no longer in the NFL, that short list, I broke it down into two. I did like the work that John Gruden did with Jaxson Dart in his series, and I know John Gruden comes with stuff, but I think their attitudes align, and if they can work out that stuff, I maybe would be interested in kicking the tires on Gruden. If not, I know Mike McCarthy worked with a young Brett Favre as his quarterback coach. I know Mike McCarthy won a Super Bowl with a young Aaron Rodgers. I'm worried his message would be a little stale to today's players, but I'd be interested in bringing him in, maybe kicking the tires on him too.
All right, some interesting names there from you, Danielle. It's going to be a very interesting coaching search. Giants probably getting on that very quickly after they've played their final game of the season. So let's put a bow on this, Danielle, because the Giants, they've got a one-game improvement over last season, right, where they won 3 games. There's a lot, as we just mentioned, to see what happens with this team this offseason as the organization is going to look for a new head coach. They're going to try to put the right pieces around Jaxson Dart. Do you look at this season and do you think the Giants fans should be excited about the future after what they've witnessed this past year? Is there a reason for Giants fans to be excited about the future? Because just a few years ago when they made the playoffs, there was excitement about the future, and then seemed to be a couple steps back. So do you think Giants fans right now should be excited about this future with their team?
Yeah, I know, and you can look at the win totals and all that, but you also have to realize the amount of obstacles or turmoil that this Giants team went through this year. A new the head coach fired, neighbors injured, Scadaboo injured. I mean, that's a lot to have to overcome. So ultimately, I need wide angle, zoom out, take the feelings out of it. I think yes. I mean, you got Brian Burns, one of the NFL sack leaders, who he will be back on that defensive line for years to come. You look at the nucleus just talked about on offense, Dart and Scadaboo and Neighbors. I mean, it's really a shame and a little saddening that we didn't get to see it all put together much this season. But these offensive guys are the new energy, the new generation of the Giants, and I believe in them. And I think the biggest thing, really, to put a bow on this, to be excited about moving into the offseason, Dexter, it's the quarterback. I mean, how many times have we seen, even here in New York City with our own eyes, a quarterback chosen high up in the draft that turns out to be a total bust here? And Dart's the opposite. I mean, I think if he can keep himself on the field, that's a key. He is the future of this Giants team. There isn't a scheduled or off-schedule throw that he can't make. He's got the moxie to make it here. And this isn't something he grew into, Dexter. You saw it on his limited snaps in the preseason that he was going to be something special. It looked effortless, even in the preseason. So I just hope that Joe Schoen could nail that next head coach and that guy or person, woman, hey, you never know, can get the most out of Jaxson Dart moving forward. But I think there is an excitement moving forward for this team based on couple of the young pieces that they have on really both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and when you have some excitement around the youth, particularly around the quarterback, like you just mentioned there should be reason for the fan base to be excited. But I also agree with you. so important that they nail the head coaching hiring to pair with Jaxson Dart. Feels like they got their quarterback. Now they got to get their head coach and just some other pieces around this Giants team. We'll see how that all pans out this offseason. That is Danielle McCartan. Check her out on WFAN. Always doing a great job there. Danielle, I know you're already going to be on it in a couple of days, doing your draft scouting, looking at who the Giants should pick up, looking at the free agents that potentially may be out there for them. I know you're going to be on it this offseason. So the next time we talk, it won't be after a loss or a win. We did it 2 in a row, so we did get that at the end of the season. But we'll be doing some offseason talk for the Giants, so that should be fun.
Yeah, you got it, Dexter. And I'll be watching those bowl games too, seeing who elevates in the primetime games and who kind of fades. I think that's also very important to watch. So watch along with me and tune in along with me, Dexter. And I appreciate all the time and effort that you put into this series throughout the season.
No, I appreciate it. Glad to have you on to talk some Giants football this season, and we'll talk again soon. Thank you.
You got it.